Welcome to the Local Farmer Podcast, where we invite you to join us on our farming journey. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or you're just getting started, we are here to learn and grow together. Our goal is to help encourage, inspire, and equip the local farmer. So let's grab our boots and let's dig in. All right. Hey, welcome to the Local Farmer Podcast. I'm Brandon.
I'm John.
And we have a lot of catching up to do. This summer has been extremely busy. I know that I have been, honestly, I've been out of the country a lot, but even vacations. And John, I know you've been on vacation as well, right?
Yeah, we've been making some trips. I don't know, little short trips here or there, but not a full vacation.
Yeah, we just been all over the place. And yeah, so this is going to be strictly audio, mainly because we're working on a podcast studio right now. So there's a lot of different things just in motion, not only the farm, not only our family, but also trying to give you the best product as possible too with what we're trying to do. So got a lot of updates coming up. But before we dive into the updates, dig into the updates, I'm trying to get used to it, John. I'm trying. Hey, where could people find us? We've actually been kind of silent on social media for a little bit just because summer has destroyed us.
Yeah,
But where can they find us?
Oh, they can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We're on all that stuff. Spotify, and check us out. We will get better at that. Like Brandon said, he's been around the world literally. And we've been all over the country as well. So just been busy this summer. So we're getting back at you. We're getting in routine. School started back, and I think you're going to like what we got to come.
Yeah, a lot of really cool things that we promised are finally coming true. So when it comes regarding the podcast, just some really cool things coming up. You know, we keep talking about guests and excited about we booked some guests, but our goal is to get the podcast studio up before we do that. So that's coming up around the corner along with everything else. But we really wanted this to be just kind of a life update from our lives, but also the farm itself. Like what are we even doing? Are we even still farming at this point?
We've been doing a lot of farming.
Yeah. But like, so John, like you said, you've been on a couple trips. What are some of those trips that you've been on this summer?
Well, we've my wife's family. They're from the Upper Peninsula, Michigan, and we had our niece and nephew here. We get them down here every week, every summer, and we had to take them back. So we met halfway when we picked them up in Indiana, but.
Are they kind of like interns? Are they interns for the summer?
As they get older, yeah, we're putting them to work.
Exactly.
Actually, they were good hands. They did a lot. Aria and Colton, but they're really, really. And Aria is getting older. She's good. She's up early, and that kid, I'm telling you, my kids will sleep. I'm gonna have to drag them out of bed at noon, and man, she'd be up. Sometimes I'm having my quiet time, and here she comes. Hey, Uncle John. It's like, go to work, go feed the dogs and do this. And, but they love it. They come down here and we get to pour into them and they get the farm experience. And so they love it. And so we took them back to the UP. It's a long drive.
Yeah.
Beautiful country up there. I mean, just beautiful wilderness.
I'm not a fan of the drive. But
I know. And, when we came back down through Wisconsin, man, a lot of farms, a lot of country there, but had a wedding to go to there. So,
I say that, but then again, now that we're farming, I might have a different perspective of the drive. You know how things change? Like, when you get a certain car, you see that car all the time. It's not like you get tired of it. It's kind of almost like, oh, there's that car.
It becomes,
yeah. Now it's like when I drive places, I'm looking at the farms.
Oh yeah.
I'm driving by and going, oh look at that property.
I even all the time that we've been married, like until we got here, and start having horses and stuff, I see things different. I'm driving down the interstate, looking at
Mhm.
horse fields, like, oh, look how'd they do their fences. Oh, I like that. Like, that's cool how they did that, and different things. And as that grows and progresses, I think you always look into, like, have you ever noticed when you're wanting to buy a car, you never see them. Then all of a sudden, when you're interested in them, like, they're everywhere.
I literally just said that.
Yeah.
So
I just reworded
yeah,
your
you
sentence
just you're
basically,
trying
but
to own what I said, but
Mm.
that's fine. It's cool. But all that being said, like I said that I'm not a huge fan of that drive. However, I think I might have misspoke because, like I said, perspective changes now that I'm farming. So maybe the long drive of seeing a bunch of just open fields might look different. No.
Well, I don't know, because you still got to deal with all the traffic. Can I make a public service announcement?
Yeah, please do.
The left lane is a passing lane.
Okay. So this is hot topic. Left lane is the fast lane. Is this
Yeah.
correct?
Fast passing. But see, if you call it fast lane, people think, well, I'm going fast. I'm going above the speed limit. Why are you in such a hurry behind me back there? Blah, blah. Passing lane is the legal term for it.
Okay, I don't like this because this is an argument me and my wife get into all the time. And hey, I get it. It's fine. I try to go as fast as I can. But yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Okay, if people are passing you on the right side and then swerving and
Oh,
cutting you
no,
off,
I get it.
don't
I get
get
it.
mad because they cut you off.
I'm
because-
not, but what I do, here's what I do though. I will go in the left lane and I will be the fastest car. So know that, okay?
Yeah.
I will be the fastest car. And I know your wife's in law enforcement, so but I will be the fastest car in that lane. But I'll stay in that lane. So is that okay? If
Yeah,
I'm the fastest car?
So I do that too,
Majority of
but
time?
I try to use my mirror, and it all falls back to common courtesy to your
Course.
neighbor,
Of course.
because I'll do that because here in Tennessee, that right lane,
Mm-hmm.
oh my goodness,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's junk.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Yeah, you want to stay out of that lane mainly
God,
because
the
of just how
potholes and
potholes. Yeah,
everything else is terrible.
Well, that's where
But,
the trucks are. That's why.
Yeah, because of the weight. But
Yeah.
if I see somebody coming up, I try to move over and get out of the way. But I mean, I'm not perfect at it either, so I can't do a whole lot of complaining. Now, when I'm in the horse trailer, I'm
You're probably in the right lane, aren't you? Because I get in the right lane. If I'm towing anything, I'm in the right lane.
I do. But if no traffic's coming, I keep an eye on my mirrors. But man, sometimes
I know.
we just, speaking of trips, we just got back, went to look at a horse up in Kentucky. It's 2.5 hour away, which don't seem that long, but pulling a 41-foot gooseneck, it is. But like, that was terrible. Like going over Jellicoe Mountain, I couldn't. I mean, it was beating the truck and trailer to
Jellicoe
death.
Mountain,
So,
bro. That is.
so I did hold some
I'm a
traffic up
fan.
there. I mean, I was running 70, but what's the speed limit? I was running right over the speed limit.
Yeah, whatever
Anyway.
the speed limit is what you were going.
But I
That's
wasn't
exact-
hugely holding traffic up. But I was like, man, I can't drive over there. I mean, it's
Mhm.
terrible. So I don't know. Anyway, sorry, rabbit trail.
No, that's.
I-
You know what? That's what this episode is probably going to end up being anyway. But yeah, so you had your nieces and nephews here
Mhm.
for a bit. That was pretty cool, and you said you went back, took them back. That was another trip. Is that right?
No, that's the trip to the UP.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
about a 14-hour drive one way.
I'm not doing it.
Man, that's fine. It's a
I
long
will
ways.
say this. I'll say this. Something I've always wanted to do is I have wanted to drive cross country, in like a Winnebago or like an RV or something like that. My wife's against it, but maybe that's a boys' trip. I don't know, but that's something I've always wanted to do.
You know what? If I had unlimited time, I probably would do something like that. But I think I would avoid interstate and just do highways.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Yeah. Like maybe have a plan of some sort of like, we're gonna get here. We don't know when,
Right.
but we're gonna get here. Now, I would struggle with that because my wife has turned me into a planner. So like I like planning out a roadmap of we're getting here at this time. Like I'm pretty strict on that, but
Well, that's part of. I think I'm like that a lot with the business and everything and the farming, but vacation, I don't want to have an agenda or an itinerary.
See, that's
Like,
different. I do want to have an agenda. I
like we
do want to have
go,
itinerary.
well, like we go to the Keys. We
Yeah.
don't go to Key West. We stay away from there. But Key Largo, Alamorada, Marathon, we like it down there just because it's like chill.
Mhm.
And we literally don't have an itinerary. We go down there and just. It's funny because we'll usually fly because we can't take a full week,
Mhm.
but we'll fly into Fort Lauderdale, rent a car, and it's like we rush out of the airport and get in a car, and then we going as fast as we can drive. And once we clear Miami and get to Key Largo,
Mhm.
down there on the A1A, it's like boom, vacation starts, and we just find a little place to eat. And we stop.
Do you
So-
sit on the beach?
So the Keys are weird.
Okay.
If they got a beach, it's probably been man-made.
Okay.
So a lot of your resorts and stuff have them because they've made them. Some of them don't. So the Keys are different. Like the kids are wanting us to take them on a beach trip. My daughter's like, we've been going to the Keys for 3 years. I want to go to a real beach.
Mhm.
So I get it. So
I asked that just because I can't sit. Like
Well-
I can't go somewhere. I mean, I guess I can, but like that is not like the thing I look forward to. I don't just go and sit on a beach and read a book and people watch, even though people watching is a lot of fun. But
yeah. So the Keys are more of Alamorada's town motto
Mhm.
is we're a drinking town with a fishing problem.
okay, okay, party
But they're
city.
not. No, they're not party. They're just like, chill. Key West is the party city. Like
Okay.
we went down there and I was like, not a place for me. But we did visit down there a couple years ago. Anyway, it's more of a fishing, water sport
Mm-hmm.
type place.
Okay.
So we like that. We usually rent a boat. Snorkeling is fantastic. In the water is like you're in the Caribbean, but you're in the United States.
I love
so,
snorkeling.
Yeah, snorkeling.
You know-
and you can literally rent a pontoon boat, go out on the Atlantic, and snorkel
Really?
because the water they don't have waves and stuff down there. It's like
Okay.
just flat water. It's pretty nice.
I do like that.
But anyway, how was? Let's talk about some of your trips.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about Africa. We've talked about Jamaica. The most recent one I went on was El Salvador. Not much to report back on like farming practices or anything like that. It was a phenomenal trip. I would say if you haven't listened to the other podcasts, I've had the opportunity to go on multiple mission trips this summer. For a project that we're working on. And I would say out of all three of those, God spoke to me in all of those places and on all those trips. But I would say the most challenging in multiple different aspects, most challenging trip was El Salvador.
Really?
When it came to the project we were working on, the ultimate project that we're working on, challenges there, but also like just kind of this like spiritual battle that I was like mentally walking through. When I came back, there was so much relief from it, release, as well as just a spiritual awakening, really, and just felt so refreshed. So it's crazy to think. It's the most challenging. However, when I got back, there was so much that was able to be released that I probably was holding on to during that trip that God spoke to me so much through that. So it was a awesome trip. I mean, bro, like El Salvador, number one, I can't speak too much because I don't know too much about it, but I would say look up their government, look up their president, and see what he's doing, because apparently he's doing some amazing things there. Like, if you're doing anything illegal, you're in jail. Like, it's like we went to a community and did like a little block party, and the organization that we were working with, they had never been able to go to this community ever because it was so gang and drug driven there that they weren't safe going in there. So we were able to, because of what the government has been able to do, we were able to go in there. Looking around though, one guy said, "Hey, look, Do you see any guys here? And there were no guys. It was just moms with their kids. And he said it's because they're basically all locked up. And that was a perspective of, oh wow, like you hear them say that like they're fixing a major issue in their country, but really get to see the fact, but also the flip side to that.
Right.
These kids are growing up without parents, and because of just decisions that they made, obviously. But you know, but yeah, like I
What?
said, I can't speak too much to the government stuff because I haven't looked into it to myself or for myself. But what was unique was you kind of still had the poverty feel of like how well we have it here, right? Like
Right.
even this room alone, just that we're in, um, it looks so different versus what they're living in. But right down the road, they have a mall that is nicer than our mall. And when I say nicer than our mall, I don't mean like you're thinking El Salvador, you're thinking, okay, when he says mall, does he mean marketplace? I mean Apple. I mean Gap. Uh, think of everything you can think of that we have here. All the high end Lululemon, like all the stuff. I say Lululemon. I don't even know if they're still around, but like really high end stores. This mall had it. Nice waterfalls, like
Wow.
just out through like it was a mall, like a legit mall.
But it was beautiful. Like,
It was when I say like if you're listening to this and you've been to an actual mall, think that like they had a pizza, bro. Their Pizza Hut, by the way, I'll say this: El Salvador's got it figured out. It tastes. This is what okay. The group that I went with, they were raving about it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best pizza I've ever had." I said, "Okay." I hate to burst your bubble. It's not the best pizza. Okay, think of a really good Pizza Hut. The taste of Pizza Hut, like all that stuff. Think of the best quality of that you can get, and that's what they have.
okay.
Okay, so like the same taste, the same all that stuff, but you know how KFCs are terrible here.
Oh yeah.
They're not good at all.
Well, it's funny
But if
because
you
like,
go to Jamaica, apparently they're the thing.
well, it's funny here. You said that about Pizza Hut and KFC, both those restaurants, and there's
Hmm.
plenty of other ones. I don't care who it is, Taco Bell, whatever. I mean, you can go to one, and it's like, wow, this is so good. And then you go to
Yeah,
the next one, it's like, what? I think a lot of it's prep and you know food quality, but
that and excellence too. I just think that like
yeah, I mean,
the type of help that you can get versus the quality of the
and it
product.
could be down there that in those foreign countries are so grateful to have those places that they've never had growing up, and that we
Maybe.
take them for granted. So we're like, our workers there are like, whatever, it's just a fast food. And down there, they're like, hey, this is,
Bro, I went to one.
um,
You like if I blindfolded you and open your eyes, you would not have thought it was Pizza Hut. There was a separate room, and when I say room, it wasn't even a room. It was kind of just like an area that had a playground inside where they had like their own mascot. Like I even forget like what the mascot was, but it was a mascot that was like doing birthday parties, like a Chuck E. Cheese style thing
oh
going
wow,
on there. Yeah, it was crazy. So anyway, I say that to say, your perception of it's all over. It's just different from like you see the kind of a low point and you see like a crazy high point. I was in a park and we went with a youth group to a park and we pull up. It's a nice park. Like it's got soccer fields. It's just, it's a park.
yeah,
And I hear something. I mean, it's just loud. And so everyone's walking one way. And then I turn around and I go down into this like tunnel. And I walk into this tunnel and there's projectors in this tunnel and they're projecting on the walls in just this tunnel. I'm by myself. I'm like, this is surreal. What is happening right now? And it's just like kind of this like effect going on. And I walk through the tunnel and I would say it kind of looked like it was a sewage drainage area that the government had came in and like flipped it because all of a sudden you walk out, there's an LED screen playing like whatever soccer game was on, huge with a grandstand. It's free. You just walk up and they play movies out through the day. Later, I walked back there just to see like what was going on. We were watching the old school Matilda in Spanish.
Oh.
It was just a weird thing.
So I'm pretty good at geography, and I know it's down
Don't do
south.
this. I don't. No, I can't do that.
El Salvador it's in South America, right?
You're gonna make me look so
Oh, you
stupid
don't have
right
to
now.
pinpoint it.
I don't,
It's South America, country.
bro. I got on a plane. I flew. I don't.
Well,
I didn't pay attention.
like,
Okay.
So when you went to Kenya,
Yeah.
I know where Kenya is. On
Yeah,
the
you
map.
do know where that is. Yeah.
Jamaica,
Uh-huh.
boom. Like I can visually see it, but I can't really see El Salvador. But I know it's down there somewhere. What was the weather like down there?
Hot.
And people just like chill out and watch
Hot,
a movie,
bro.
and it's hot.
Hot. Dude, it was.
I think it's close to the equator, isn't it?
It was so there was another trip a month before that our church had taken some people down, and they said bring extra clothes because it was apparently during like the rainy season or something like that, and it rained like maybe one day while we were there, but other than that, bro, it was definitely hot. I'm talking as I'm looking.
You're looking it up.
Are you
so
looking
can
it
tell
up?
me. No.
Okay.
Well, that's good. I mean, how long was the flight?
Okay, so Honduras is right next to it. Nicaragua is on the other side of it. Guatemala is on.
Okay, so
Is,
south of Mexico.
is that giving you?
so
Yeah. Is that giving you a little
Yeah.
idea right there?
Yeah.
I was looking to see. Yeah, North America.
It
There
is
you
in North America. It's just in
Yeah.
the top, just in the very tip bottom.
Yeah, you have kind of a little bit of the three. Yeah, it's closer to the Pacific Ocean, so
Okay.
that's what they would
Gives
be.
me an idea where it's at.
But like I said, Guatemala, Honduras is right there, and Nicaragua. So, but yeah, it was super hot. A lot of fun. But like I said, out of all those three trips, once again, a huge rabbit trail. But out of all those three trips, I would say that was the most spiritual awakening trip.
Really good
Yeah.
deal. Anything in particular wild and crazy or that happened down there? You just had that feeling, but I didn't know if you. I mean, if y'all
No,
were
I
able to-
would just say there were some things that like some personal things that were like kind of happening, and like I said, it was just challenging in a lot of different ways that I don't think I can really put in words to what those challenging things were. But like I said, it really felt more like a spiritual battle, and then once and there was a breakthrough from it. So that's what I would say about that trip.
Good deal. Well,
coming
what
out
I'll
of
say
that,
about
so.
your trips, because every time you leave,
Here it comes.
the
So you talked
farm-
to okay,
the
so
farm falls apart.
yeah, so
Not literally, but it's always something.
okay,
It's
so it is funny because you look. I'm trying to think what happened. I know what happened before Jamaica, the night before I left for Jamaica. But what happened for Africa? Was there something that happened during Africa?
that was when Boris
No,
escaped,
no, that wasn't.
or was
no,
that Jamaica?
That was Jamaica. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm sure something happened.
I don't know.
But I
it
do
just
know the
always-
night before Jamaica, I had to go. Boris, that was his first time getting out, and if you don't know, Boris was our big boy that ended up being 700 pounds, right?
Yeah. Well, over 6.
Over
I
6.
need to look at my sheet because I
yeah.
meant to look at it. 'cause
Okay.
She gave it to me, and I
Okay.
can't remember. But it was over
Well,
6.
Well, we can round to basically 7 when we were told 450. So, way different, which I agree with. I mean, huge. Anyway, he got out, and I was able that night, huge victory, getting him back in. I mean, it was dark. I don't know how I did it. I lured him somehow and got him back in. And we'll talk about on another podcast about him more specifically, but also about what I'm about to say. And that is, it was really our fault,
Yeah.
about the electric and the reason why he got out. And so no fault to him. Super sweet
Yeah,
pig.
he's
He really
cool.
was. Is whatever. But he, yeah, I was a big victory for me that night. But you're right. Every single time I've gone, I've had to watch things deteriorate, and it had nothing to do with you.
I
Like
mean, I don't know. It could
it just,
be.
no, I don't know, because I just got back. We just got back from Disney. We took one more summer trip before school started, and while I was at Disney, the flood came,
Oh my.
and and so you were having to deal with that, and right before I left, once again, I got the sunshade back up after they pulled it down. I got the new one out there, so like it was clean. I cleaned out the feeders really well. I mean, they were like basically shiny. Poor, our water. We'll talk about that once again of fails, but our water. We're having to go out there every day now with water, and it. I had that like kind of doing okay. However, it still was a sloppy mess, and then the rains came when I was gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was actually working, and you'd sent a message and on our group message, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't look at it. I was doing something, but we were here, and Jenny goes, Brandon says we need to go up there. The pigs are flooded.
Yeah.
And we looked, and we're like, okay, well, it's like currently pouring
Yeah.
like buckets.
Yeah.
We'll go up there when it clears out. So
Yeah.
we went up there. And it didn't look like they'd gotten a feeder, but we learned some from that too.
Where to put it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
all that. So I think it got right at it. It may have got in it a little bit, but the pigs have basically created their own, where they're root around in that pen. They've created their own pool.
Yeah.
And so we had to make some breaks in that to where it would drain itself. So it helped. It's not completely great. I really need to probably pull that fence down and
Yeah.
get them do something a little different there. So
Yeah.
live and learn.
So shifting more, less from farm or personal, moving into farm. Like this summer has been kind of. I mean, there definitely have been some crazy adventures that we've been able to partake
Yeah.
upon, which will be in the next podcast. But when it comes to moving things forward, I would say, and maybe you agree with me on this, stagnant right now. Like it wasn't like the summer wasn't really a move it forward. It might have been our goal. However, it was kind of with our trips and our personal lives and all that stuff. And luckily we're in a place where we could be, but
Yeah.
would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, our our trips, yeah, but also the weather didn't cooperate. I mean, we have had weeks on end, 90 degrees, no
Yep.
rain.
Yep.
And that's probably helped us in some ways with we're having to cut that property,
Yeah.
mow it. And so that's helped us some
Thinned
of that
it
not
out a
grow
little
back.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were able to get down the bottom and clear all that because it dried out. But at the same time, the dry and the heat limits what you can get done. So we were just kind of maintaining. I think now we're headed into late summer is when we're going to get some productivity done.
Yeah.
So and then now it's like it rains and storms all the time. So that brought on, when you were gone, all those storms showed issues that we didn't know existed because it'd been dry for so long.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that headed into fall, really. But you're into summer, back in
Yeah.
routine. Kids are in school, so we should be able to knock some of those projects out and make some forward momentum here.
Yeah, and only having currently, 4 pigs on property, and the fall. Obviously, our goal is to get cattle on property, and gonna make that priority goal. And obviously, we have to do fencing around that, put a plan in place for that. But I would say we're at a place where it was okay to kind of go on an autopilot mode. And now, like, we both agree, like full on, let's get towards our goal, because this time next year we're gonna have piglets, we're
Cows.
gonna have cows, potentially, sheep, whatever else comes. This is the start, and there's going to be a time when it's, we're not going to be able to go, as many trips. We're going to have to sacrifice some things in order for it to grow as big as it may get. We want the farm to be as big as it can be, but we're not trying to manufacture something that is not attainable.
Yeah, and so when we got the lease and everything settled out and figured out, it was early spring, and so we had a lot of cleanup to do. That took a lot of time, and then going ahead and introducing some animals to the property due to opportunity. That's what we did, and so it's just been it's just been a period, a season that.
Like are you getting emotional right now?
No,
because it sounds like it to me. You're just like,
no, I mean,
it was a season.
Oh yeah. No, so we've had a season. You hadn't missed much. We've just been busy and maintaining. So
yeah.
But we're getting fired up about what we're about to get into.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a podcast on that. What's down the pipe? What's next?
Yeah.
It's not that we haven't done anything. We just like we've got we've somewhat fixed some of our water issues, but. So we do have water. We had water on property, but we had a huge, massive leak. So we've got that dug up and temporarily repaired till we can do our water feeders and because we want to run water lines everywhere and do our fencing, and we're in those planning stages. That's what we're doing now. Like, okay, it's hot, it's dry, we got trips. Let's talk, plan, figure out what we're doing. And
so it's more getting the roadmap and then
because we want to hit the ground running. Like even with our fencing, we're like drawing that out, measuring it out, and we're going to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll introduce that to you when we got it. So we're still we're in the figuring stages, but we're getting there. We know what we're going to be hitting the ground running doing here in the next few weeks and month.
Yeah, I think us having just 4, technically 5 at one point, but 4 pigs on property with no losses. When it comes to the pigs themselves, and we were able to really determine some things that we did well and some things that we absolutely failed on.
Right.
But honestly, only having a few to work with allowed us to identify things that we know for a matter of fact what we're going to do differently. And I think that was actually a positive thing, instead of, us getting super gung ho and saying, oh, we want chickens out there. We want, cows. We want pigs. We want sheep. We want goats. We want all that. Let's go for it. We have the money. Let's just throw it down and let's just do it now. Doing it slow like this. And I think that, if you're listening, maybe this is going to help you if you want to do a homestead or kind of a smaller farm. One thing that we've learned is slower is better. Mm-hmm. Even though, we don't have a product right now. I mean, we kind of do, but like in the sense, like we don't have something that is going to table right now, and it has and will take over a year to be where we, where I think people imagine you start.
Yeah,
you imagine, oh, I'm gonna get this so I can turn it into pork or turn it into beef, but the reality is like, this has been a year-long process, or it will be a year-long process to get to that. So that's something that we learned, and on the next episode, what you were referring to, we're going to talk about the fails.
And like my grandfather said, the only mistake or failure is the one you don't learn from.
Yeah.
And those are the real failures. If you learn from them, how you learn from them. And a lot of the reason we do this podcast and we're talking about stuff and we're throwing ideas around is, hey, listen to us and learn from our failures. It's kind of like with our kids. We want our kids to learn from our failures, and then they go out and want to make the same mistakes.
Well, you said earlier that like, we're not doing much teaching right now. Mm-hmm. And I think, when you do podcasts, it's like, we're going to give you all the knowledge that we have. The knowledge that we're giving you is learned from our mistakes. So when we say, hey, we tried, because, you know how many times that I've gone online and be like, will this work? You know,
Yeah.
type in something that's like, can you daisy chain this to that? Or
Yeah.
can you use plastic instead of, asking those questions? We're hopefully giving you some answers to those things of like, hey, we thought you could do it that way too, but that's the reason you don't
Well,
do it.
and we try not to fail, but
Yeah.
at the same time too, we do this podcast. We started it because a lot of times, and we're just real. I mean, it's like the thing says, come dig in,
Yeah.
have a journey with us.
That's right.
Because a lot of what you're going to find when you get on YouTube and you ask those questions, or you get on Google or whatever you're doing, you don't see the fail.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I watch YouTube and like this guy's like, oh, it's like the old, like I was born in the 80s and coming up through the 90s. You know, you'd watch your shows on Saturday morning, the 4-wheel drive and truck repair. You know, and they'd restore these cars and or HGTV. They'd flip a house in 3 days. Man, it's a new house. You know, or it's a new car in 30 minutes, and it's just not real life. So we kind of are living our farm life out with you guys.
That's
and we might say something this week and come back and tell you, well, we did something different because we made a mistake and that ain't gonna work. So so come along with the journey. But and we'll go through that. And so we got some good stories and some good fails coming up, and that's the next episode. But I do have a gift for you.
Me?
Well, for us.
For us.
Yeah. You can't. So
he's okay. You're pulling out a bag.
Yeah. So we'll just post it.
Okay.
A
Post it
picture of it
on social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Since this is audio only.
Oh my goodness!
How do you like?
Look
that?
at those. That is awesome. So this is, what is it? Is it steel? What is this?
This is a stainless steel coffee cup
with our logo on
and
it.
It's laser etched.
Dude, that is awesome.
The Local Farmer Podcast.
Wow.
Let's grow together.
Look at that, bro. First merch. Look
It's
at
a
that.
gift.
It's a
second,
gift.
It's a second gift. I mean, so a buddy of mine, Alan Nichols, hooked us up with these, and it's pretty dang cool.
Alan Nichols, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Wow. So does he do this on the side, or is this something that he just did for us, or?
So he worked.
Well, you're laughing a lot about this, so now I'm concerned. Like, I'm trying to give the guy a plug here, and you're ruining it.
No, he works for a manufacturing company.
Okay.
And they laser etch serial numbers on the pieces that they machine.
Okay.
With this, but they laser etch depleted uranium. So So he says they're safe to drink out of. So I don't know. We'll see.
So now I've got a lot of questions about what I'm holding.
No, it's totally. He wouldn't do it if it wasn't safe. He is actually a nuclear safety guy, so he wouldn't do it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. He's like, hey, let me take these to work and do these out. So he doesn't work for the government. It's a private company. So
that's totally why you're hesitant. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
These are really cool. Hey, thank you so much for the gift. That's really cool.
Yeah, and we'll post a picture of them, and then you'll see them on our episode. We'll use them.
Absolutely, we'll use them. They're going to stay right here, next to us. Well, awesome. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out with us on a little bit of an update on our personal lives and to a little bit of our farm chronicles that we were able to document. But hey, remember to check us out on social medias. All that stuff, right, John?
All those platforms. Get on there and communicate. We'd love to. We want to hear more from people. Even if it's just comment like, hey, that was stupid, or hey, you guys are funny, or whatever it is. We like to hear from you, interact. So get on there. All of them, Facebook, Instagram.
Our goal would be to respond to all of them that we can. However, I'm going to be honest with you. Now that I'm getting older, I may, obviously we're posting on there, but like just checking it as much, we'll try to get better at that.
Well, like I've got 4. I've got my personal page.
Yeah.
I've got my business page. I've got the Local Farmer Podcast page. And then I got my daughter's pet sitting page. And so a lot of times I'll get notifications and I click on notification
Yeah.
and there's 0 because it went
No,
to my personal. So I got to go
you're
click on
absolutely
all
right.
the other pages.
I've got personal. I've got our farm stand. I've got this one, and I had another one that my son and I used to do a show, and I really don't do anything with that anymore. So, but yeah, once again, hey, thank you so much for checking us out and listening to this audio version of the Local Farmer Podcast.
Absolutely.